Listen only mode.
We have a little bit to cover today. Want to make sure that everybody is in the right frame of mind. Everybody is moving forward and prepared for open enrollment. As you have seen all of the information that has been going out from Florida Blue, they had sent out a bunch of information about postponements and some potential cancellations of road shows. So we want to make sure that everybody's aware of that. Now, the South Florida shows look like they're still on point for next week. However, the Tampa Road Show, which I believe is tomorrow or was tomorrow, the Fort Myers, which was today, have been postponed, and they have not picked an official date yet for them to redo it. They will be talking to everyone and communicating to everybody about those new dates. And in talking with leadership over the last few days, they're even talking about potentially doing a webinar release for the ACA plans. As we know, the Medicare stuff is all come and gone. Certification should be done. All of that process for product as well as the core modules, they should all be done at this point, and you should have been able to satisfy all of them with the information that you got at the road shows. Really looking good for Medicare. I am going to be getting some slides to do some additional training for all of us and your teams. So once everybody recovers from the storm, probably next week or even the first week in October, we'll have more of an open dialogue, questions and answers about each of the products, making sure that we know best really ways to market those products and we're comfortable, especially with the new release of the DSNP programs. The dual eligible programs, the Medi plans. Those are going to be a new thing for all of us. We talked a little bit about that a couple weeks ago as the release was starting to come forth. And understand that with those particular products, they are not necessarily an open enrollment play. Just want to make sure that everybody's aware of that. We'll use those products when they come up. If we identify someone as Medi, that way they can get better product portfolio for themselves. But typically the folks that are Medicaid, Medicare programs, they are and understand that, so they avoid open enrollment like the plague. Why wouldn't you? You don't need to deal with that. You have an SEP at all times to change. So we'll begin really digging deep into that after open enrollment, but just making sure that everybody's comfortable with it, everybody is good with it as well, and we can move on from there. So ACA is the big talk of the town. So there's a lot of things going on. If you've been watching the news, we've got Bernie Sanders talking now about a new plan. We've got all kinds of political upheaval once again. But in our conversations with leadership at Florida Blue, it really does appear as if they're not going to implement a lot of changes for this open enrollment, if any. So Florida Blue is very comfortable thinking that the cost share reductions will stay in place. Looks like the individual mandate will stay in place until, of course, after open enrollment, because we are getting down to the 11th hour. Those of you that have been paying attention understand that next week was kind of D-Day for cost share reduction removal, and we were really thinking that that was going to happen and that could potentially impact us significantly. However, Florida Blue and what they're hearing from the government and from Washington is it doesn't appear that that's really going to happen. Quite frankly, there's a lot of other crap on our plate right now, right? Between multiple natural disasters, throughout the country. We're talking about fires. We're talking about hurricanes. We're talking about tornadoes. And then, of course, the impending doom that we have, of course, from our buddies over in North Korea. And then we've got our wall that somebody wants to build. And we got all this other crap that's going on. So I think it's kind of taken a back seat, knowing that there's a lot of other things that are really moved up towards the forefront. Will we see changes next year, the year after that? I think this is going to be an ongoing thing, and it's just going to be we're going to have to take it day by day to see how things play out. So with understanding that we don't, there is a level of uncertainty. Obviously, we're uncertain about what our compensation plan is going to be. We're uncertain about the business rules. We're uncertain about a lot of things when it comes to our business from a transaction piece. We do know that Florida Blue is still going to be here. We know that there are carriers that are doing expansions. We know that there's carriers that are raising rates. We know that there's a ton of opportunity. So we need to be prepared because we are still dealing with a 45-day open enrollment window. That does not look like it's going to change. Could there be a pseudo extension or something? I wouldn't bet my bippy on it. That's for sure. I think that they're going to leave things the way they are, and hopefully we get some help with our partners at Florida Blue. We get some help overall with the community to making sure that we get all of the enrollments that we need. Obviously, because we have to satisfy our income needs, our overhead needs, when we're talking about a 45-day window. So what better way to do that and to be ready than to be prepared? So Florida Blue has already started parsing out information for 2018. Those of you that have been watching and going into the training modules, I recommended on our last call last week. Obviously, if you were locked in a house with no electric, it probably didn't work. But they have released a bunch of new training modules that are very good about enhancements. They've also done a lot with the new products. And we've already started building our 2018 folder for ACA that is already starting to get chock full. So, for example, the 2018 All Plan Matrix has been released. There are a couple of job aids in the training that talk about new product changes, and enhancements that you would want to definitely urge your teams to take. I think it will help a great deal when it talks about the new plans, talks about the enhancement to the plans, what are those changes, and some other things that are, I think, very important that we're going to have to go over as a group. We've created a new federal poverty chart. Obviously, those numbers change every year. So Gigi will throw that in the Dropbox for you guys so that way you have it if she hasn't already. And that just represents the new rates for this year. New income levels, therefore, are changing because they change every year. All Plan Matrix is out there, so if you want to see what the new plans are and some of those enhancements, I think we're going to be in good shape. We still have a lot of options. What you are going to see is some off-marketplace plans that are new in the silver space. You're going to see a gold buy down to a $2,000 deductible gold if you haven't looked at that already. So I think that you're going to have great options and great solutions and a lot of flexibility. And Blue Cross did a lot of this because of the uncertainty in the marketplace. So they needed to give good buy down options for the lightly subsidized or unsubsidized folks. But you are going to have to be prepared to talk with all of your members and talk with these folks about possibly going down. So, I mean, going down a level, going down a meta level. So that way, if they're on a gold standard 1505 plan, for example, maybe they take a look at the new 1800 plans. And that's the new $1,300 gold plan deductible. We've got, of course, our My Blue, which is meh, shall we call it, for the gold plans. But we'll go through more details, but this is out there for you. So you should definitely be taking a look at it if you haven't saved it already. 2018 open enrollment system enhancements are out there. And then, of course, there's been a lot of changes with it formulary-wise. And the formularies that you need to, and how you need to understand what the formularies are going to be doing this year. What we've done is, with those, we will have some training guides that I started putting together yesterday. But one of the big things that you're going to see is going to be DAW, drugs written as dispensed. And this is a kind of a model that we never had to deal with before. And these slides come right from the training modules. So I would get into the Florida Blue training and take a look at these. Drugs written as dispensed as written. Jesus, more coffee. Is really important because it's something that we didn't really experience before a little bit with Blue Select. We had that issue. And a lot of people had gravitated towards Blue Options because they could get whatever medication that was written for them. And this really surrounds the generic medications and getting a generic medication as opposed to when there's a name brand. A lot of people, they say, oh, I just want to take the name brand. They get their name brand copay. They're very happy with that. Well, what they're doing is instituting the same rule that we have with our Blue Options and Blue Care that we currently have with Blue Select. And that same rule is with My Blue currently as well. So you're going to have to get used to that. There's a couple of charts in there that'll help explain it, so that way you can explain it to your customer base. It goes through diabetic supplies. It talks a little bit about pharmacy, and then, of course, the portfolio and everything about the portfolio. So get in there. Those of you that aren't sure how to access that, you're just going to get into Florida Blue, go into My Blue Learning. and then you'll see that those opportunities there. So they should be very easy for you to access. You're just going to have to look for them a little bit and take a look at them, because I think they're very helpful. They've actually created some helpful materials this year, which is good. Hold on, let me just show you everybody where that is. Sorry, my fingers aren't working as fast as my brain today. So again, you're going to go up to Sales and Training Support, go into your Florida Blue Learning, and then you will see some access point in the library here. Remember, we have our core curriculum, which should be completed at this point for your Medicare. We have our core product as well that's also out there. And then we have the attestation, which was necessary to do in ACA for agents and brokers. And then the training that I'm talking about is the open enrollment period training here. And you will see plan closures. And I think it's very strong. I think it'll help you a great deal. Specifically, what you were just seeing was information from the product and the segment updates. So those two are going to be strong from a training perspective for your teams. Okay? So as we recover from this storm, we try and get all of our ducks in a row. We get all of our training done. Hopefully we have some information on business rules from Florida Blue in the near future, so we can begin pre-marketing to our membership, making sure that they understand what the pathway for enrollment is going to be and how that's going to work, and then things will all start falling into place. Remember, it is the 15th or the 14th of September, so we are running out of time. Time is definitely our enemy now, because we were hurry up and wait. Now we got a storm. We lose a week. We have more things going on, and we've got to kind of get all of our training done and make sure we're comfortable with the new product set. Because in the next 2 weeks, we will receive these business rules. We're going to have to train on what's going to happen. How are you going to process these applications? What is going to have to be passive and active renewal, and what all is that crap going to look like? So there's going to be a lot of moving pieces going on, and we're excited because it's here, right? All of this time that we've been doing this, all the preparation, and it's here. Just a couple other reference points for you, some other resources that you have here. There's the 2018 information that they're starting to populate in here, cost share reductions and planned crosswalks. The county map for 2018 is a little jacked up. It didn't look very good for me, so I didn't take it down. But you'll be able to see all of the stuff here. You start to see these 18 sheets in here for you and your teams to access. All right, so I think I've covered everything that I need to this morning. I want to open it up to questions, any concerns that anyone is having. Hope everybody is safe and sound and recovering and getting your electric back and getting schools back and all of that good stuff. So do we have any questions before I let everyone go today? Short, sweet, and delicious today. Is anybody awake today? Maybe that's a better question. Is my mic working this whole time? Oh, there we, yes, I guess so it is. All right, yes, all right. So no questions, everybody's good, everybody's just hunkering down, recovering, trying to cool off if you got no electric. All right, everybody. Well, with that, I'm going to let everyone go. It doesn't seem like anyone has any concerns or questions, and we will go from that. When will we hear about commission rates? I have no idea. I was hoping that we would have had them already, but we do not. I think a lot of that has to do, Paul, with turmoil going on in Washington, and they just are nervous to release any commission rates, and knowing that they may have to change it with CSR changes if that does happen. Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, have a great day. We'll talk to you next week, and stand by on when those road shows will be out. Thank you for your participation today. Have a great day. Bye-bye.